Asherlo. It's a big grand.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hate that we started like that now. I just used to like say hello everyone, welcome back, but now we have to do the whole.
You can do your own intro. It doesn't.
I know,
said it
but
once.
I like consistency.
I said it once, and then you just started copying it. Wasn't
Okay,
like a pre-written thing.
If you haven't guessed it yet, this is a podcast about two Irish Egypts who give you their two Irish Egypt opinions. That's my part. The two Irish Egypt opinions. I like that. It's fresh. It's nice. But anyway,
Good
my
morning.
name is
Good evening.
my name is Daniel. This is Owen.
Well, what it do, chat?
He that wasn't Owen actually. Get out, Owen. Come here. Sit down. All right, this is Owen.
I'm playing the role. I'm practicing for Twitch. All right.
That's how you have to talk
talk.
Are we ready for the Twitch? Are we ready for the Twitch?
Yeah, I'm ready to be a Twitcher.
Twitcher. Okay.
A Twitch streamer. Yeah.
The intro has taken a very different route today altogether.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to say about this week's movie, so I'm fully here just to talk poo.
Oh, cool. Yeah, like you never do that. Anyway, look, let's be friendly. How was your week on?
It was good. Yeah, it's been the same as every other week for the last year.
Yeah.
No, it was nice. I got to catch up with some friends of mine who are stateside. I
saw. Very good.
I haven't spoken to them in quite a while, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to those people.
Yeah, I feel like you're about to insult them and went, no, they're not those kind of friends. I better go the other way.
They're nice people. No, I don't know. Yeah, but that was nice. It was nice to do that.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
I'm really looking forward to like telling future generations about COVID. Just going, you don't know what it was like.
Yeah.
Personally, I've just been back to doing drawing a bit. Thinking of doing projects, having a bit of freelancing work as a graphic designer. Please hire me.
You can't say that every week. All right.
I can and I will. This is my occupation.
This can't turn into you begging for work. Okay. This is just a begging podcast.
Something to do.
I know, yeah, but we already beg for likes and comments at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
We don't
Which we also don't get, so why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're today talking about The Rocketeer, 1991 movie, produced by Disney. And it's a film that takes place in 1938. It takes place in that whole Pulp Fiction era. And look, we'll go into, the people behind everything. So, director Joe Johnston, you might have heard of him before. He has done movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Jumanji, your favorite movie of all time, Jurassic Park 3. You know,
the best of the Jurassic Parks, surely.
Yeah.
Even if
absolutely.
Just for the talking velociraptor on an airplane scene. I mean, that's just peak cinema, in my opinion.
Yeah, Alan. And Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah,
he was director of that.
Strong shades of that in this one.
Very much so. He also worked. He's also currently working even on a movie called Shrunk, which is a reboot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He's also working on Chronicles of Narnia, The Silver Chair. I'm not a Narnia fan, so I'm not sure if this is a big deal or not. But that's happening.
Yeah, I wasn't a Narnia like C.S. Lewis books person.
Yeah, more of a Tolkien boy.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the old Narnia movies, a couple of them. They were okay. They were fine.
Are they all like part of the same continuity as long with the new ones as well? Or is this like a rebooted universe, or
I have no idea.
The story there?
I honestly have no idea. I know this is the second week in a row we've mentioned Joe Johnston.
Yes, it is. Another thing about Joe Johnston, and you kind of lean towards it there. This film was apparently what convinced Disney to actually hire him for Captain America: The First Avenger in the first place, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's not far out from that era. It has that sort of, all American man feel, and kind of like Captain America: The First Avenger has a lot of that like Pulp Fiction feel to it, like jumping on trains and zip lining and all that kind of stuff. So, like, this movie has a lot of the same DNA.
They're very similar, like aesthetically as well.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Yeah,
quite the same.
The original comic writer, Dave Stephen, he wrote the graphic novel of the same name. It first came out in 1982, and it was a homage to a lot of like Pulp Fiction of the 1930s to 50s. In fact, he was in all but name prodigy of a character called Doc Strange. Have you ever heard Doc Strange?
Doc Savage.
Doc Savage, even. Why? See, Marvelous ruined my mind.
Not Doctor Strange. Not
have you heard of Doctor Strange? I never heard of him. Have you heard of Doc Savage?
I have heard of Doc Savage, yes.
Yes. So Doc Savage was like that, this all-American man of like the 1930s. Really weird backstory, honestly. He was raised by a bunch of scientists who trained him in everything to become basically like an Ubermensch sort of thing. And he was like the predecessor to the Rocketeer in all but name, because David Stevens didn't have the rights to Doc Savage. So he described the characters in the comic and everything exactly like the characters from Doc Savage, but just didn't say their names. And he handed like the jetpack to the next generation, the Rocketeer. And that was in the movie. They went, look, we're not going to go that far. Howard Hughes is just going to be the new Doc Savage. Yeah, cool, nice. Let's do that instead.
Doc Savage is like, that's where Indiana Jones came from.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mean he came from Doc, but like Indiana Jones is like heavily inspired by Doc Savage.
Yeah,
he's just I think his whole thing was that he was just good at everything, right? He was like a polymath or whatever they called him.
Well, yeah, so Dent described Doc Savage as a mix of Sherlock Holmes' deductive abilities, Tarzan's outstanding physical abilities, Craig Kennedy's scientific education, and Abraham Lincoln's goodness, like his decent
he was just good at everything. He knew everything.
He was raised by a bunch of scientists.
He knew everything.
That's the weird thing. His dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna make sure you're gonna be raised by a bunch of scientists." And they went, all right. They basically made him superhuman in that regard.
And I think they were going to make a Doc Savage TV show or something at one point, or a movie, and The Rock was supposed to play him.
Oh God, that's terrible.
But that might have turned into the Jumanji reboot thing.
Okay, because that went through the mill then a few times.
Well, no, I'm just thinking because there's the Rock's character in that, or the Avatar. Dr. Bravestone is his name. That's who he's like Jumanji. He's not acting like Dr. Bravestone because it's a girl trapped in his, or whatever. But he's very Doc Savage when I think about it. Yeah,
there's a bit of that. Yeah, there's two writers and so the writers who wrote the story for the movie, then they did the screenplay on it, called Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, which again was one of those things when I realized what they did beforehand. I'm like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. The Flash, the original TV show from the 90s, like they co-wrote that, and again you can see that in this as well. It's a very sort of 90s production of a 30s, 40s, 50s theme.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
The Flash.
I've watched 1 or 2 episodes because I liked the modern version. Look, if it was there at the time and that's what I had, I probably would have loved it. It aged for me now, not gonna lie. I guess how I feel about a lot of the older superhero sort of creations of the past. Like, I can respect it and I can really say, I see what they did there. That must have been fun. But I couldn't watch them now. I'd be like, okay, sorry. And Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo also, they've worked together on just about every project, and they did a whole bunch of video game stuff as well. So there you go.
Was one of those video game things Uncharted by any chance?
I saw a big list. I didn't check it, but it would make perfect sense, wouldn't it?
Just thematically, maybe it would seem maybe like something they possibly worked on.
Yeah, definitely. It's more older stuff. I think they've done a few James Bond stuff, games and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they wrote GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor: Rising Sun. Metro Last Light.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's some good stuff. Some good games there, to be fair to them.
Yeah. At first, it's terrible because I shouldn't be like us. When I see like video game credits, I went, "Oh, okay, they're kind of not that successful as writers." But there's a lot of good stuff there, and it should be treated with more respect than I gave it originally.
Oh, they wrote The Five Bloods.
Yes, I saw that's the most recent 2020. I haven't watched it all.
Spike Lee's latest movie. Yeah.
Is it good?
I wasn't mad about it. It was okay.
All right. Okay, fair enough.
A lot of people loved it though, so it was quite well received.
Well, that's good. Which this movie wasn't. I think it only made 45 million from a 35 million budget, which I know a lot of people hear. Oh, that means it did successfully because it made more than it did. But usually, marketing and all that kind of stuff is kept out of original.
Yeah, there's Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, you have to basically do double of what the original movie costs to make even, really.
Yeah, if not more, depending on what kind of campaign they push out with it.
William Deere was involved as well, and I really put him down because he wrote some of like the pure 90s stuff and late 80s. He wrote Harry and the Hendersons, Time Rider.
All right, right. Go on, keep going.
And Angels in the Outfield.
He's 3 for 3.
Yeah, he's genuinely. It's just like I was like, wow, those are quintessential late 80s, 90s things, but they're class.
They're fucking hits. They're hits, man. This guy's batting 100.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I actually found like the writers and all really fascinating via power because you can see the DNA in a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't stop there, and there's a lot of interesting things on the acting side. So we have Billy Campbell as Cliff, the main dude pilot man, who becomes the Rocketeer. He's mostly known for being like Once and Again, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to even acknowledge Once and Again because he was also in Star Trek: The Next Generation as Captain Thadium, and he kind of played this Han Solo-esque pilot that was helping like a bunch of royal families, like a royal family couple, to like hide their love. And your face seems to be very
I'm stuck on what the fuck is Once and Again.
I don't know because I saw that, but then I realized, no, wait, I know that face. Oh damn, he's in Star Trek Next Generation. And I completely stopped pretending to care about the rest of this.
Is it a TV show? It's a TV show.
I think so, yeah. He's been in a lot of TV shows. Nothing I've really watched, to be honest with you. But he's prolific. You know, he has quite a list of credits in a lot of TV shows. But there's a few other actors considered for this movie. Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Robin Williams, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford.
Here's a connection.
Go on.
Once and Again was created by Edward Zwick, who we know from, he wrote and directed The Last Samurai.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay.
I knew I recognized his name.
But yeah, so there was a few actors involved. It's considered for Cliff. Those Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Robin Williams, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Ron Perlman, Tom Hanks. And honestly, you could see all of them. Maybe not Tom Hanks, because you see the rest of them as quite roguish characters. But I don't think of Tom Hanks as a roguish character.
This was like late 80s, early 90s Tom Hanks. He was still doing like
91.
He was still doing like Big and stuff at that stage.
Yeah,
He'd like.
But even then, I don't think he has that roguish quality.
No, he never had it. But like, it wasn't like he did a movie, like, then that would have made them say, "Yeah, he looks like he's good for." I don't think this was like right before he did Toy Story.
I think, it's an odd one. But there were some other people auditioned as well: Emilio Estevez, Bill Paxton, Dennis Quaid, and Kurt Russell, who, look, I looked over that and I think I've seen Kurt Russell being on a potential list for every single movie of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It keeps on coming up for every single one. He auditioned for this. He just auditioned for this. He didn't even make movies. He just auditioned for him.
He's Kurt Russell. He's just like, yeah, I'll go out for this. Why not? I'm Kurt Russell. I might get it. You never know.
Yeah. Disney had a favorite. They wanted Johnny Depp, which, yeah, I don't know what to think about that.
Would have been a very different choice.
Yeah,
I think,
it would have been
for this role. This was Edward Scissorhands era Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
he wasn't. It would have been odd.
Yeah, he would have been a nice match, I think, with Jennifer Connelly. Though they have both that kind of spooky sort of quality.
Jennifer Connelly
to them.
is like ethereal almost to look at.
Yeah,
she's just like a fucking siren. Especially in this period of her career, she was just like, damn, look at her with her porcelain skin. I think she might be a vampire, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Johnny Depp had that back then.
Yeah,
he was doing his Tim Burton-y stuff and doing What's Eating Gilbert Grape and all those movies where he was just weird and odd. This was he wasn't really like the leading hero of a superhero action movie franchise kind of Johnny Depp back then.
No. Just because we're on the Star Trek thing, there's 2 more Star Trek people on this. You know the guy at the beginning who hid the jetpack in the plane and then was just like, "Ha! Blew up in the car. You'll never get it now." That guy.
Did he play an alien in Star Trek?
He did. How did you know?
Because I'm just thinking of his face, and he looks like he had the big forehead or something in Star Trek.
Yes, he played the Ferengi with the big ears and the big foreheads.
Yeah.
He was Rom on DS9, and actually a really lovely, wonderful character. Also, Tiny Ron, or Ronald Taylor, as he was born, the big tall guy with the weird mishmash face. Obviously, the mishmash face was a mask. He basically played every tall guy in every movie at the time. He seemed like a very nice bloke. They actually based the mask on someone called Rondo Hayton, who showed up in a lot of B movies in the Pulp Fiction era. So he played the big gopher or the brute man or the creeper. He played the big scary fellas. And he was also not only in Star Trek Deep Space Nine for quite a time, he was also in Star Trek Voyager for another role, which happens in Star Trek a lot, as you can imagine, because they put a lot of stuff in your face so you can play a few different roles.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to Jennifer Connelly. I mean, what's there to say about Jennifer Connelly that most people don't know? She's in Beautiful Minds. She was in The Hulk, which I somehow completely forgot about. She was in Alita Battle Angel.
Ang Lee's Hulk, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Liv Tyler is in the Edward Norton one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're a little bit different.
Liv Tyler has a voice that that matches Jennifer Connelly's image.
That's a the ethereal thing again, isn't it?
That's
Yeah. She was also in Alita Battle Angel, and she's currently in Snowpiercer, the TV show, which is fantastic. I've been watching it every week when it's out. And she's going to be in the next Top Gun. For some reason, we're having another Top Gun movie. But
what do you mean for some reason? It's because we need another Top Gun, you peasant.
We do not.
We need that. Really need the overt homoeroticism of Air Force pilots to return to our screens, all right? And we need...
That's what we need.
And we need 60-year-old Tom Cruise to do it again. We need Tom Hanks to be in Top Gun.
Now, that's someone I can see. Just recast Tom Cruise.
I want current day Tom Hanks playing topless beach volleyball in Top Gun 2. That's what I want. You just get him. He'll get back in his castaway.
I mean, the dad bod's in these days, you know.
Go for it, man.
Yeah. Look, if they can CGI a 6-pack onto Tom Cruise, they can do it for Tom Hanks.
You CGI a 6-pack on Tom Cruise. How dare you?
I mean, definitely has been done, but never mind. Alan Arkin is this, from Little Miss Sunshine, Argo, with a lot less fake hair, because there's a lot of weird fake hair on him in this movie. He has like a fake mustache and like a fake wig. He plays Peavy, the engineer mechanic guy. Like, it just looks very wrong on him. Timothy Dalton as Neville Sinclair. I mean, James Bond, Hot Fuzz. One I didn't know, Toy Story. He played the hedgehog, Shakespearean actor.
Toy Story 3?
Yeah. Yeah. The very, I'm an actor. I'm
one of the...
Yeah, that's...
The new... Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't know that. And I went, that makes a lot of sense. There's Paul Savino, who has been in every mobster movie forever, for all time, including one of our favorites, Goodfellas. He played Charlie in Goodfellas.
The best gangster movie ever made. I'm saying that like it's a wild statement. It's fairly it's pretty accepted, you know.
Yeah.
If you ask people, they're going to say, some people are going to say The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2, but most people, I think, will be agreement that it's Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's absolutely Goodfellas. We have the part played by Howard Hughes, which was originally Doc Savage, is played by Terry O'Quinn, which we know as Locke from Lost, Stepfather, and he was in the Alias TV show. And I feel like I keep on saying, like, I've seen him in more things, but I've went for his IMDb, and I'm just like, no, like, apparently I don't know him in as many things as I do.
No, I only know him from Lost, and he looks totally different as Howard Hughes in this movie. It wasn't until about halfway through the movie, the first half spent every time he was on screen going, I know this guy. What do I know him from? And then it clicked suddenly. I was, it's Locke from Lost. Yeah. What a guy.
Hey, let's get on to our next section.
What the hell is going on?
Right. So we see Cliff. He's a test pilot, and he's jumping into this plane that his team has been putting together with Peavy in charge as head mechanic. And their whole job is, I think, to build planes and show off how good they are at flight shows, I think, so they can get contracts to sell them or like win competition. That's basically where Cliff comes from, you know?
He's a racing pilot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And he's racing this plane that they've worked on for now 2 or 3 years. It's a big deal. It's amazing. And he's like, well, be careful because on the throttle and all this kind of stuff. And here's a fun fact: when he puts the chewing gum onto the back, that's the kind of chewing gum that was considered lucky by pilots in real life at the time. Like, it's an actual sort of real life analogy. I don't know why chewing gum would be lucky, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm just wondering what the reasoning. Why did they have a lucky chewing gum brand?
Why is luck ever considered?
There has to be a story somewhere there. Like, there must be one guy must have like survived a fatal crash, and he attributed to the fact that he Air Force pilot Tom Davidson only chews 5 gum.
Yeah, exactly. As is the B-Man's gum, by the way. And it's also referenced in a movie called The Right Stuff, 1983, where Chuck Yeager asks his crewmen friend for some B-Mans before a flight. It's just a thing pilots apparently do. Chew gum is apparently, maybe it's because like, this is what it's like to move your jaws before we crash and have to have wires embedded into our jaws so we can't move them anymore.
Possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah. That's actually where it's from, madly enough, you know. Yeah.
I can see though that I can see like pulpy 30s like marketing posters that like the gum was probably sold as an Air Force, a pilot's choice kind of thing. You know, they had like
our boys need some gum.
Like doctors only smoke Marlboro cigarettes, that kind of thing. Like.
And pilots only chew B-Man's gum.
I can picture it.
But yeah, he goes up in the air, and while this is all happening, the FBI is chasing down a bunch of mobsters, where one of the characters from Star Trek I mentioned are trying to get away, and they're shooting miniguns at each other, and it's a big old chase, and they drive into the woods at one stage because that's what you do in car chases. And eventually they lose them in the woods, and they end up on the airstrip. Meanwhile, we have Cliff, and the plane stopped working. And it's all because Peeves took off the chewing gum off the plane. Did you notice that?
I don't think I noticed anything in this opening scene.
You didn't watch this? Okay, fair enough. Okay.
You said they were in a forest there at one stage, and I kind of went, huh, were they?
Yeah, they go off the road into the forest, and the forest leads to the airstrip, and yeah. One of the mobsters is dead. The other mobster decides to hide the thing they were stealing inside an airplane, which ends up being the Rocketeer jetpack. And the cops come along, and the mobster had planned to like blow up his own car by driving it into a fuel truck, which was clearly the most flammable, easily destroyed fuel truck in the history. I don't think he even hit it. I think it just came right up to it.
He tipped off it, and it blew up like an Acme carton from Looney Tunes or whatever. It just went like extremely highly pressurized container.
Yeah. He gets carted off by the FBI. Cliff gets pissed off because, hey, are you going to pay for... Because the car and the plane crashed together at one stage, and they're having this big talk. Hey, you're going to pay for this, and so, well, you might get lucky if you send in a report to, the US. And it's basically a joke saying like they're not going to get their money back on this. This is 2-3 years down the drain of everything they loved doing, And the FBI thinks, it's gone, and they. We can start talking about other characters. Like the FBI goes to Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes is like, no, I'm not making any more jetpacks. People died making that jetpack, and you'll just use it for weapons, which is weird because real life Howard Hughes made car engines that were very easily turned into like airplane engines, including airplane engines on the Japanese side during World War II.
Yeah, well, a lot of his money in the aeromotive, is that a word? Aero engineering world, like making planes. He built them for the military. Yeah. He had like a bunch of military contracts and stuff for the war and things like that. So
yeah,
he didn't care. The man was pissing in jars and stuff, man. He didn't know what was fucking right and wrong. He just he just really liked aeroplanes and geese. Yeah, I think.
No, you're thinking of what's his face? Of the pigeon. You thinking of the pigeon man?
The pigeon man?
Oh God, I feel so terrible. Tesla. Tesla loved pigeon.
No, I'm because Howard Hughes' his big airplane was named after it. It was called the Spruce Goose or something, wasn't it?
Oh right, okay. That's okay, fair enough. I mean, look, geese can fly, so that was I guess that makes sense.
It was Howard Hughes, I don't think it worked because he couldn't get it off the ground. It was like a gigantic airplane that he wanted to like.
Do you know?
I don't know. He wanted people to live in it, I think, but he couldn't get it. It flew for like 5 feet or something.
Do you know the worst thing is how I know about that? What you're talking about? Because the Simpsons did an episode of that where Mr. Burns did the same thing. He designed a giant airplane when he became stayed at home and wouldn't go outside, and told Smithers to climb into the model of the airplane.
That was great episode. That was Mr. Burns being Howard Hughes for that whole
Howard
thing.
Hughes, yeah.
Just an insane recluse who really liked airplanes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen Martin Scorsese's The Aviator, which is Leonardo DiCaprio playing Howard Hughes, and it's all about his life, it's an incredible film, and I highly recommend it. It's really good.
Yes. It's very good stuff. Also has like Nazi stuff in it, and if you like watching someone beat up Nazis,
it's also they move through like the different eras of like Howard Hughes' life, and Scorsese shot each. So during like the 20s, all of the scenes there are shot on the same like film cameras and to the same aspect ratios and color tones and everything as they would have shot films in the 20s. And then you can see the switch to like Technicolor when they move to like the 40s and stuff, and it's really cool.
It's really impressive, yeah. I love when people kind of go experimental like that. Like they really try to capture something in the detail as well. That's the big thing for me. Like even when I'm like thinking of like doing Doctor Who edits, and I do Doctor Who as a bit of fun, I always like matching it to the era it's from rather than trying to update it to now. It just doesn't feel right doing it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, a bit of a tangent there. And to be fair, me being a Doctor Who fan the way I am, this is the least amount of tangents I've gone on with Doctor Who. But yeah, in that time, Cliff and Peavy find the jetpack inside the plane, and they look at it, and they look at it. It's like, oh, what's this? And they click a button, and it flies all around the place. It's clearly extremely, extremely dangerous in every way imaginable. It is not safe. And they said, oh, all it needs is alcohol to fuel it. And I was just like, ha ha ha, same. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and Cliff decides to put it on because, of course, you would, because he can fly anything, even with a matchbox of wings. Yes. Even though the jetpack has no wings.
Very, very clearly does not have wings. But yeah, he's a cocky pilot, man.
Yeah.
He can go for it.
Yeah, and
would you keep it if you found a jetpack in a shed that functioned?
Oh, I'd probably keep it, but I probably wouldn't use it. I'd be a bit too chicken shit.
I'd probably be, I think I'd be too timid to actually like strap it to my back and try and fly or something, unless I was full of drink. But like,
you'd be dead instantly.
Oh, I'd die straight away. Like, that's the thing. But like, I wonder, so the modern equivalent would be, I guess, if we found like a Tesla jetpack, in a barn somewhere or something, or just like, I don't know, in a parking lot or something. We just found it. Property of Elon Musk. Like, would you keep it? I wouldn't trust Elon Musk.
Can I just say I hate how accurate you captured the modern equivalent of that. Like Howard Hughes.
That's what he is. He's he's today's stupid eccentric billionaire. But Elon Musk is so aware of the stereotype of crazy rich person that he just like actively tries to fulfill it a lot of the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole making flamethrower shit, he just watched the Hank Scorpio episode of The Simpsons and thought, I can do that. I'm rich.
It's not even a good flamethrower, to be honest.
No.
You could do the same you could probably just get like a fucking deodorant and a match and get the same reach.
Yeah.
Don't do that, kids. That's very dangerous and probably will blow your hands up, even though it's really cool. But
play with fire, children. It's this week's moral.
Look, it's a 1930s movie, of course.
Little Billy, play with matches.
Firecrackers, eh? But yeah, so like the FBI and everyone thinks the jetpack is gone, and PV and Cliff go and find a jetpack and find a statue to use the jetpack on, even though they could literally use like sandbags or anything really. And instantly the jetpack turns into a dangerous weapon with a statue attached to this time and flies all over the place, and hijinks. And look, we'll go forward anyway. We won't stick too long on the origins because it's not much of an origins.
That's the rest of the movie though. Hijinks ensue, to be honest. What happens when a fucking idiot gets a jetpack? Well, here it is. The Rocketeer happens.
Yeah. So Jennifer Connelly is obviously in this movie, and she's the girlfriend called Jenny. They were very creative with that one. It was named after someone else, but they were real life equivalent, and they said, please don't use my name in this movie, and they went, okay, Betty something, but that's something else altogether. They're in this
Betty White.
No, it wasn't Betty White.
Just Betty. Who do I know who's a famous Betty?
Like he's brought her out on a date again to a cafe that looks like a dog.
It's the worst looking cafe I've ever seen in my life. I think it's literally it's not like we're saying it kind of looks like a dog. It's literally a giant pug statue with a cafe inside the bottom of it.
Do you want to know the worst part? There was actually a real one originally that got destroyed, and they rebuilt it for the film, and now it still exists.
Why did the first one get destroyed?
I think I'm not sure. I think there was actually some storm or something that broke it apart. God decided no.
I didn't want if it was like a tragedy, I don't want to be like, fuck. But I do. Fuck that cafe, right?
Yeah. Fuck the building, not the people
May
within
it burn in hell.
But actually, a lot of weird stuff happened in this as well. The plane he flew at the beginning of the movie was actually a replica of an original plane as well that they rebuilt, and it's now in an an aero museum. That's what we'll call it. Aero engineering museum. As being a replica from the time.
I know there's a word here that we're just missing. Like there's a term like air. It's not aeronautical.
It's fine. We'll put it in the title. Not aeronautical.
That's what I can't. Aerospace, aerotech, aeroplane.
Airplane museum. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
The airplane. There it is. Yes. Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, yes.
Keep your brain on that one. Remember, I said Aerosmith.
Okay, we'll keep it on that
for
one
later.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the locations and props and everything basically the guy who wrote the original comic had all the source material for all the comics, all the reference shots and everything like that, and he just gave it to the production crew, and they went, all right, we'll just build this exactly how it is. They just, because it was so densely done already, they went, there's no point in us recreating this, we'll just use your notes. And I guess that's where the weird dog thing came from.
Saved him a lot of time, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We find out that his Jenny is an actress, like Jennifer Connelly is.
She's a wannabe actress.
She's a wannabe actress. Yeah,
she's not like famous or anything.
Yeah.
Which Billy constantly shits on her for as well.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have a talking line?
He's such an asshole to her for most of the movie.
Yeah.
He's very much like, my pipe dream to be a super famous racing pilot is totally fine, and you need to support me in that and come to my races and watch me almost die every week. But you want to be a fucking actress, Jenny?
Yeah.
You've had like a non-speaking role in a side B movie from shut up, Jenny, you woman.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. It's actually also how the linchpin of this movie exists, because this is how we meet Timothy Dalton's Neville Sinclair, who is a Nazi sympathizer, but also actor, on a production where she is on. And there's some interesting things about this. It's believed that Neville Sinclair was based on a guy called Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
He was an actor at the time, and supposedly Nazi sympathizers based on a book. But who's to say if that was true or not? But that's what the idea was here anyway, to have a Nazi sympathizer actor. And yeah, so look, this is after one of their arguments. Jenny goes to work, and the princess or whatever in the film is being played by the director's niece. She's doing a crap job, and eventually Sinclair kind of sees her and goes, oh, she is very attractive. Jenny is a very attractive woman, which I know it's not the weirdest thing. It is weird. Like, she's 21, he's 35 at the time, I believe, in like actors' ages. Was Timothy Dalton, or was he 45?
Timothy Dalton himself?
Yes.
Or the character of Neville Sinclair?
Timothy Dalton at the time, because we had this discussion about it.
Timothy Dalton was born in 1946.
1946,
so he was,
and this was it.
47, 40 something, 45.
Yeah, 45. So, I mean, look, maybe he was younger in the movie, all that kind of stuff, but kind of felt a little bit weird.
He is Hollywood's third highest grossing box office star, Neville Sinclair. So
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, they have some kissing scenes, and you can obviously see Sinclair's trying to take her for his own and win her over and all this kind of stuff. And we get a few scenes where we see Sinclair is with the mob. The mob has been hired by the Nazis through Sinclair to find this jetpack. And they realize the jetpack's back when Cliff goes up to save one of his friends who was a vet, I believe, and he seemed a bit adult-minded, you know, some post-traumatic stress, and he decided to fly up there to save Cliff's job, basically. And the plane was not working, it was failing, and as Cliff went up there as a Rocketeer, he got knocked unconscious by, I think, the steering wheel popping up or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I think because Cliff like shoots through the bottom of his plane and his head just pops up through the floor of the plane, like between this man's, is his name Michael or something? Between his Marshall, something like that, between his legs. And he like freaks out and rips the steering wheel off of the front of the plane. And then, I don't know, did he just pass out?
Yeah, he passed out. He was just knocked out the whole time until he got to the ground.
Yeah, but like, was it like a blunt force? Like,
I think it was like the steering wheel knocked him out. Like,
or did he just faint from the shock?
I saw metal things flying to his head, so I assume they did that.
I don't know.
There's a lot of like harmless putting people unconscious in this movie. Jenny especially knocks out so many people with like vases to the back of the head or a wrench or whatever. There's just constant knocking out, which again was very much a trope at the time. You know,
like
knocked out from the back.
People are bulletproof, but they can get, you know, they can be hurt when the scene requires it of them. Yeah, like even the jetpack.
Yeah, concussions didn't exist back then.
Even the jetpack is like indestructible at first, but then conveniently it gets shot by a bullet.
Yeah, which through luck needs a little bit of chewing gum to keep it sealed, because that's
all it takes.
The thing,
day old chewing gum.
Yeah, I think that's where the whole Ghost in the Machine's meant to come from. Really, it's like that little bit is him to this perfect machine. I don't know. I got a little bit like that. A bit of the look, a bit of the quality of Cliff was kind of put to this machine because of that chewing gum.
Yeah, maybe. I personally didn't see any qualities in Cliff.
Personally, I didn't see any qualities in this movie.
No, the movie's not bad. I kind of like. I liked some of it. I think Cliff. I think I can see why the studio did not want Billy Campbell to be cast as the lead in this movie. Yeah, because he's not great. Like,
there's not much to him, is there? No, it's a little bit flat. Yeah, he's all right. Like if he played like a buddy or a side character, he'd be perfectly fine. Work.
He just didn't have the presence for me to like
star quality, I guess. You know?
Something. Yeah, I don't know. Especially not when he's like put up with Timothy Dalton and Jennifer Connelly and stuff. Like, it's like, maybe you should have just cast Harrison Ford, like, or something.
Yeah, or something. I mean, it would have made sense. It's exactly what Han Solo is, pretty much. Yeah, he's very this much roguish.
That. Yeah. He's going for that a lot, I think,
But yeah, we see him flying around a lot. What did you think of the flying effects?
Today they look terrible. Yeah. But like for 1991, they probably looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
When this came out, you know, I can imagine that probably would have been something that people praised about this when you know, anyone who did see it, any of the 10 people who saw it.
Yeah.
But like,
and I think this was still before green screen and blue screen kind of stuff. I know how they did it. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but I like early Star Trek used the same sort of effect. That's what or Star Wars even, where you see those kind of little white outlines to it because they're showing different lights and then taking the frames and overlaps the frames on top of each other too. You're this filming person. I don't know why I'm explaining this.
It looks a lot. It looks better in some. Well, I think honestly, in some scenes, it's just practical. He's just being pulled around the place on a wire, and that's all in camera. Than it does in like the scene where he's actually flying around trying to save the guy in the airplane. That's clearly like. Yeah.
I think it's the matching of lighting that's the problem there. Like it just very hard to match the lighting.
It definitely would have looked great at the time, but it's pretty dated looking now at this stage.
But here's an interesting thing. Disney created a new type of camera for those scenes. So you know obviously of the Steadicam, you know, camera that steadies itself to get a clean image. Disney invented the opposite. They invented the shaky cam. For when those accelerated moments happened, there was an extra bit of shake that was filmed at the time.
That seems like a waste of money.
Yet they did it.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. All right, nice one, Disney. Thanks for that gift to cinema.
It was used in scenes inside the Zeppelin to like give the impression of the powers of the engines. So like when the Zeppelin is like shaking and all that kind of stuff, that's meant to like give the shaky effect. Where really they could have just had the cameraman go like just shove the cameraman.
Like just hold the camera in your hand. It's gonna shake a little.
Yeah,
like it's
that's true too. Yeah. There's lots of ways to do it, but apparently maybe they just wanted a consistent one.
Yeah, they thought they were Stanley Kubrick, and they said, "Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
We need to invent a camera."
Yeah. And here's the best part. You're gonna love this. When the movie went to video, the effect didn't really come off too well, so they steadied it.
They in post they stabilized the shot. I mean, yeah. All I can say is, what a fucking waste of money. This movie might have made a profit if they hadn't bothered with that shite.
Do you know the worst thing is? I think there's probably some technician engineer who was so proud of inventing the shake cam. Like, yes, this is brilliant. This is such. He never, just an engineer has never been on set to understand how it's done. Just designing themselves like, oh my god, this is, why has no one else done this? I'm a genius. It
just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what? How can it, like, experienced filmmakers have not just been like, no, we'll just fucking shoot it. Why don't, hey, cameraman Dave, just hold the camera in your hands for this shot. We want it to be kind of shaky. Or, you know, hey, why don't we just, like, because we're shooting this on a set somewhere in Burbank, like, why don't we just shake the set a little bit? Like, why don't we put that in the like, make the set that we're using for the blimp shake a little? Like, they could have done anything. No, we need a new camera that shakes. And what purpose is this gonna have in the future? It's a camera that shakes. There's countless uses for it.
Yeah. For example, when you want to shake a picture, okay, what else?
Yeah, that's one. I'll get back to you on the other 99. Give me a minute.
You know, I bet you it was I bet you it was some guy who used to watch like the original Star Trek and saw like people like shaking all over their consoles and went, they didn't have to do that if we just had my shaky cam. They could have done
so much simpler with my new shaky cam.
Which still wouldn't have looked good because everyone would be just standing still and the whole frame would just be shaking instead.
Oh man, I don't know.
Anyway, so when he saves his friend from the air show, obviously, like, the Nazis and the FBI find out, and you know, we get this entire we get the reveal that Sinclair has been dealing with the Nazis. The mob doesn't take it well, and your favorite moment of the movie, I think.
I'm so happy because I called it in a freak, like, this is what's going to happen in this movie.
Go on, describe the scene.
Because I just had a feeling, because the mob boss guy who Neville Sinclair has hired to get the jetpack back from Eddie Valentine, they never really portrayed him as like a bad guy. He seemed to be, he was just like, he was doing what he was paid to do, but he didn't seem like he was like, he wasn't particularly willing to like hurt anybody or like cause
he was a
any
playful
injury.
mobster.
He was just a mobster. He was being paid to do a job, and that was it. And he kind of butted heads with Neville Sinclair a lot in that, like, you could tell he didn't like him, and he was just doing it for all the money. And I just had this feeling, I was like, there's no way this guy is going to be down with Neville Sinclair being a Nazi. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. And I said it like halfway through. I was like, nailed on. This guy is going to switch sides at the end, and he's going to be like, I'm not cool. I might be a criminal, but I'm not a Nazi, you motherfucker. And that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Neville Sinclair is...
It reminds me of that scene... it reminds me of that scene from one of the older comics, I think from the Golden Age, where it turns out like Red Skull and the Joker were working together with a cross-universe thing. And the Joker finds out that he's Red Skull is a Nazi, said, "Wait a second, I might be an insane maniac, but I ain't no Nazi. Get him, boys!" It's like, yes,
that's exactly what it is. Like the mobster turns around after Neville is like revealed to be a Nazi, and he's working for Hitler. Eddie Valentine just looks at him and says, "Wait, is this true? You're a Nazi?" And Neville Sinclair is like, "Yeah, what does it matter? I'm paying you," or whatever he says. Your man's like, "No, I might be a criminal, but I'm 100% American, and I don't fly with that Nazi shit. Get him, get him, boys!" It's just it's
really good stuff.
And he like, there's a small moment in it where the Eddie Valentine and the FBI, the U.S. government, like realize they're on the same side now, fighting against the Nazis, and they kind of
mini guns going on. And
they just kind of look at each other briefly, and they're just kind of nod at each other, like, just for this moment, we'll team up to fight the Nazis.
Really, it's really great stuff. So Sinclair takes Jenny up into a blimp, the Luxembourg, I believe it's called, and there is this big fight at first where Cliff fights Tiny Ron's character, I think it was Lothar or Good Old Boy, and they have a fight,
Luthor, something like that,
yeah. And eventually he knocks them off and all this kind of stuff, and we get this whole fight in it, and it turns out that he's going to peel the chewing gum off the liquid fuel on the jetpack and basically blow the entire thing up. At some stage, Jenny decides that I'm going to use a flare to shoot people with inside a blimp. Well, yeah, all this is happening, and we get an altercation at the end when they're escaping on top of the blimp with Neville Sinclair versus Cliff, and there's a great moment in it that I only realized back where Cliff goes, "Ha! No stuntmen around to help you out now," and Neville's going, "Ha! Well, I do my own stunts," which is a reference to him being James Bond and the only James Bond who did all his own stunts. And it's just like, oh, I love that. That's beautiful. But they blow up the blimp, and they're saved by, I believe, like the FBI and PV by the plane or something along the line. I'm not sure who saved them. Someone saved
Howard Hughes in a
Howard
helicopter.
Hughes. Oh yeah, the American hero, the good guy. Yes.
Howard Hughes shows up in like a weird little like pedal copter thing. They all jump into it, and he flies away with them. Yeah, I think that's it.
And we get the nice cheesy. They lost the plane, and they were all sad. And here, it's the end of the day, and Howard Hughes arrives in a little plane and says, "Oh." And Cliff's like, "Oh my God, this plane's amazing, blah, blah, blah." And of course, Howard Hughes brought it for him. And they have this weird scene. It's like, "I didn't even thank Howard Hughes. Kid, he saw the smile on your face." Like, who are they making Howard Hughes out to be? Like, seriously. This must be from the remaining Doc Savage thing. It has to be.
Howard Hughes in this is like this, like, otherworldly. He's played as being like a super, like, morally sound, like, just iconic. He just happens to make airplanes, but he's like also the nicest man in the world, and he's like a philanthropic billionaire type kind of thing.
He's American hero as well. All that tumbling. And I honestly think it must have just been from the original Doc Savage thing.
It could have been, and it's might like when this is set in like the 30s, this was probably pre Howard Hughes. His brain falling out his ass. In jars, kind of stuff, like, so. 1938
was the movie set in, but and happily ever after, he gets a new plane, he can do stunt shows. And we'll go on to the next section. What was your Jesus moment?
I was gonna say it was the clown plane flying bit, to be honest. Because it came so. We were both kind of like, why is this guy? Why is he dressed as a clown? Because I think we kind of, it's supposed to be like a flying circus type thing. It's like an air show, but with clowns.
Almost like the rodeo sort of stuff where you just have like basically meant to be drunks that take over the plane and do wacky shit. Like,
it was just kind of odd though. But I don't know, maybe a Jesus moment, like for something that I actually thought was that I really enjoyed, was when Jenny has been kidnapped by Neville Sinclair, and he's trying to like seduce her into like you know, sleeping with him and becoming a Nazi or whatever. I don't know. She doesn't know he's a Nazi yet, but like, and he's pulling all these moves on her, trying to like seduce her, and he keeps like reading out lines, and he gives her these big like poetic like, you are the moon across my ocean, darling, and all this, and she's just like, oh, you said that to Carol Baldwin in 1928's Fly Me to the Moon kind of thing, and he does it like 3 times because she's like it's the first kind of moment in the movie where she's always kind of shown as kind of like a strong person, but like she actually gets a bit of like a I'm this whole Hollywood thing is not just a pipe dream, like I'm really into this shit, I know movies and I'm quite smart and I'm an intelligent woman kind of. I just thought it was just well done, and Timothy Dalton plays it really. He plays. I love the really
authenticity
well,
thing in it, because that's the big thing that there's nothing authentic about you.
Yeah, and you could tell, you know, like she pegged it, I think, from almost from the start. She was a bit kind of like bleary-eyed in meeting Neville Sinclair at first, but very quickly she was kind of like, this guy's full of shit. There's something's up with him kind of thing. I thought that was a nice scene.
My one is it's again a Jenny scene, and it's more of a what, and it's she's staying in this place that's ran by a woman where girls can rent rooms. It was a very common thing back then, right? And she sees her boyfriend, and he's coming up, and she says, "Oh, your boyfriend's here," and she's putting her lipstick on, and she kisses or puts her finger onto the picture frame of them together, and there's just part of me like, you're about to see him.
He's downstairs.
He's
not away in the war or something. Like, he's downstairs right now. You can just see him.
We didn't need the imagery to say, did you know they're a couple and she likes him?
Plus we already had that because he keeps a photo of her in the cockpit when he flies planes. As like, she's
and even when the place is on fire, like he still saves it.
She's like his good luck charm. The photo of her that she has signed for him or whatever is the only thing he saves from the plane. And stuff. So
in fact, they hunt him down that way because when the mob is looking for him, they see the big heart of their names together, and you went, "Oh, what? That's on the photo!" Like,
and they see a photo of them hanging on the wall in the pilot's cafe. That's how they know who Cliff is. Yeah,
exactly. It's all, to be honest, looking back at that scene, that seemed a little bit fucking force fed, wasn't it? Oh,
it's just
this picture and this carving and this phone.
Yeah, it's just that one shot though. It was like they just took that shot of her doing that to a photo for the trailer or something. Yeah, so they could stick it in and add, like make it seem like it's something else is happening and he's like in trouble or whatever. But
just a little add-on, by the way. Maybe not the best section for it. There is actually a sequel to this movie. That's made by Disney, and it came out in 2020 or 2019.
It's a TV show,
and it's a TV show. It's for Disney Now or Disney for kids. It's a kids EG, and it's I think it's one of those things like the girl in it who's the Rocketeer gets given like the helmet of the original Rocketeer, and her grandfather recognizes him and, well, I got to make you a suit now. Like you're going to be a hero, and it's like the writers and everything, like, they consider it a true sequel to this movie and the comics.
Billy Campbell is in it too, isn't he?
I think he plays the grandfather, doesn't he, or something?
I'm not sure.
He doesn't play the same role. I don't think he plays the same role,
I think
but
he's in it,
he is. Yeah, which is lovely. I like that there's a bit of a sequel, and I like that Disney sometimes does kids sequels to movies that weren't really for kids originally. I don't know. There's something charming about that, I think, personally, anyway. But yeah, let's go on to our final section.
Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
I mean, we'll make it easy. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, it's not bad. Like, I liked elements of it. I think it's quite fun, a little bit cheesy at times. It's a superhero movie. It follows all of the building blocks and the plot structures that we are now very familiar with. When it comes
MCU
to
has got a lot from it. It did.
Yeah, but like even just the general, it's your like typical superhero origin, like first movie kind of thing. It's like the tale of, there's shades of like, I don't know. I mean, it's like a weird AU where like Tony Stark built the Iron Man suit and then like got Johnny Storm to fly it for him or something.
Yeah.
Like Tony,
I mean,
Howard Hughes is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Who built like
it could be Howard Stark. Literally, it could have been Howard Stark.
There's a bit of that to it. So yeah,
and to be honest, if they incorporated that into the MCU, I'd be like, yeah, cool, sounds fine. Like, why not? Yeah,
it doesn't
be a weird one, but sure, we're not. Whatever.
I don't think there's really anything about this movie that's going to kind of stick with me or anything. I'm not going to be shouting the Rocketeer's praises to the rooftops now, right?
No.
But it's a nice little movie. It's fine.
If you have a bit of time, if it's on TV,
it's on Disney Plus, so you can just stick it on in the background and mosey your way through it. Well, I meant to ask, like, at the top though, because you said this was a nostalgia pick for you. Like, did you see this as a kid?
I think I've seen this a couple of times as a kid. I'm going to be honest with you. I think bar for the action scenes and him flying around in the sky and that kind of stuff, I don't remember much of the love subplot, or I didn't even remember Timothy Dalton being in this, but it was definitely a movie I used to watch as a kid a lot. I think I watched the German version of it as well.
That would make sense, considering you were in Germany.
Yeah. No, I think RTE at the time, and for people who don't know RTE is a local TV channel, RT1. I think it was an RT1 actually.
Local.
And well, it's kind of local.
It's Ireland's national television broadcast.
Yeah, it is for some reason.
Which I suppose we're in Ireland, so it's like a local news station.
Yeah, I mean, look, the world's big, man. But yeah, so I think it definitely wasn't. I think I remember a lot of the suit and the hijinks and the comedy, and that's why I'm saying MCU more, because like it wasn't afraid to take the piss out of itself, much like the MCU isn't afraid to take the piss out of itself. Whereas I find a lot of other superhero movies still they're adopting it now, but they're still a little bit more hesitant than MCU is. And I think that's where a lot of, like, especially Captain America, the first Avenger, had a lot of comedy in it. And I think it's the same comedy that we saw in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is it almost felt like a dry run for Joe Johnston, like a test episode that he did before doing Captain America, the first Avenger.
And obviously it impressed on the Disney people enough to consider him to make Captain America the first Avenger. Like, he was that was one big part.
The first Avenger would have been made before Disney bought Marvel.
Okay, then the MCU, I guess, at the time.
But there's no way, like, when Joe Johnston put his name in the hat to make Captain America, they definitely were like, oh, he made the Rocketeer. That's basically this.
Yeah.
Not basically, they're not like exactly the same, but they have a lot of the same stuff going on.
I'll be honest, when I chose this movie, I also thought it was like a Western time movie. I thought like the cowboy kind of feel to it.
You thought it was like Will Smith's Wild Wild West.
Almost like that era Western sort of nonsense, yeah.
So Wild West, but some guy has a jetpack and that makes him unstoppable.
I mean, it makes more sense than anything in Wild Wild West. Don't even start me.
Listen, Wild Wild West.
No, we're not going there. No. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I don't think I'd go, I'll definitely watch it again. It's not on the cards, but it was a fun time. I think kids would have a great time watching this. I think families would have a good time watching this with their kids, because
I think
there's a little bit of naughty humor in there as well. But
it's hard now because like
Tony Stark exists.
Superhero movies exist now properly with a lot cooler and more like hyperly advanced things happening in them than a guy with a jetpack in 1938. I don't know, kids, like, I think if you're looking for something to just kind of take a step away from all the MCU crapola that's,
and even a bit of an era thing as well. I know MCU this era as well.
I feel like this movie, there's, it probably has a lot of like really intense fans.
Yeah,
there's probably.
Look, anyone who's a Pulp Fiction fan will love this. Like, not Pulp Fiction movie,
not the Quentin Tarantino movie.
You'll be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, don't. There's your takeaway for this. The Rocketeer, kind of like Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we're saying, no doubt. But Owen, what are we watching next week?
Well, do you remember what I told you to keep in mind earlier?
Yeah.
I said Aerosmith, right?
Yeah. Go on.
Can you extrapolate from me saying Aerosmith? What movie
could there
we're
be
doing
potentially a planet that's in danger and it
There
needs to be
could be.
saved?
Maybe
Is
it
it
needs
potentially some sort of comet
maybe
doing something?
Maybe it needs to be saved by a plucky crew of angry miners. Huh? I mean,
imagine.
you know?
But wouldn't it make more sense to make astronauts learn how to mine things?
You shut the fuck up, Ben Affleck.
Folks, if you don't know what it is yet,
we're doing 1998's Armageddon next week.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
that's what we're doing.
I love this movie.
It fits in everything, and I really want to watch it again. So we're doing Armageddon.
Oh, look, if we're going to do that, I already have an idea of the movie after I want to watch. We'll talk about that when it comes. But yeah, I love this movie so much. Yes, I'm excited. I'm happy. But yeah, that's it from me, folks. Please like, subscribe, follow us on social media, share us to friends. I just as a side thing, I really liked our last two episodes. I think we're doing more of a talky things about the movie rather than following the plot exactly. And I have a few friends, and even my brother said like they really enjoyed last week's episode. So I think this is the way to go. Less plot heavy, more talking about the movie. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think we talked about this. The what the hell is going on section was never. It wasn't planned. It wasn't supposed to be like just us explaining the plot step by step.
Yeah.
I think maybe it started as that until we got a bit more comfortable with the whole operation. But we're trying. So
it'll be a bit of a change. We'll still talk about scenes and stuff. Don't worry. Like we'll vaguely describe the plot. But look, if you want the plot, watch the movie. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was it from me. Owen, say goodbye.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Asher, look.